I think my name is a little unique. I grant myself that. This is only proven through the further pronunciations I have heard through the various teachers all of my life. Razik, Razik, and of course Razor are a few of the common ones. I'm grateful for my parents naming me with such care and the thoughtfulness because my name is a big part of me that sets me apart from others. That, and it is a great icebreaker. With this being said, I haven't always been fond of the attention my name receives until a few years ago. I volunteer at a place called Camp. Here, simple amenities such as swimming and canoeing turn into unforgettable experiences enjoyed by children exhibiting intellectual and physical barriers, the most common being autism and Down syndrome. I have volunteered at this camp for many years, but no year has been as impactful to myself as this past summer. I had the privilege of counseling 2 campers throughout the week who would change my life. The first camper had a multiple of diagnoses along with a persona only realized on the first day of camp. This identity was a feminine characteristic in which I encouraged, because the remainder of the week would be the few days in which he truly felt like himself. One memorable experience was my camper's eagerness to ask a male counselor to the annual prom, but wanted to do it in the most extravagant way possible, by pretending to marry him, of course. In his mind, his newly wedded husband would have no other choice but to go to the dance with him. We made this imagination become a reality. I ordered him a pink wig, grabbed him a white dress, and had the cabin congregate to create a night that would not be forgotten. They said their vows, exchanged hugs, and danced their way to prom. All of this was done to give him a temporary opportunity to be whole. Little did I know, 2 hours after the wedding, this same camper would divorce his newly wedded husband and propose to 2 other guys, one of them including me. I was honored. You see, this camp provides a supportive safe haven in which these children feel in control rather than being controlled. Outside of this place, they are told constantly how to live their lives, limiting their free will just because they are perceived as slower or incapable. As the week came to a close, the parents arrived to pick up their child. I could sense something was off by just the look on the camper's face. He did not want to leave. It was as if the same void that granted him his happiness at the beginning of the week was the same void that took it away. The attention and patience that was shown at camp was not fully reflected at home. I understand that it is difficult to cater to every single need of a person, but I also understand that it is difficult to live in a world that treats you differently every single day. The second camper was beyond intelligent. He knew multiple languages and was basically a walking history channel. He also, for some reason, kept a stash of medieval weapons in his house, such as ninja stars and katanas and crossbows. You know, the usual. During the middle of the week, we struck up a conversation with each other while walking back to his cabin. This was the same talk in which I found out about his fascination with medieval weapons, but was also the conversation in which my life would be greatly impacted. To give you a little background information, this man was 19 years old with moderate autism, but you would never expect it unless he told you otherwise. As the conversation went on, we slowly transitioned from weapons to his personal life, the life in which he tried to make something of it. Ever since he was a kid, his dream job was to translate multiple languages on television, hence why he knew so many languages to begin with. Once he graduated from high school, he applied to multiple colleges in order to pursue this dream of his, but nothing came to fruition. Rejection letter after rejection letter, all of them repeating the same words. We cannot accept you because of your disability. The key word, disability. A physical or mental condition that limits a person's movement, senses, or activities. He was declined the opportunity to pursue the thing he loved. Think about that. Being denied from college because of something out of your control. That is, if you ask me, but it was the college's choice of the word disability that bothered me. To be honest, I prefer the word diffability because these people can do the exact same thing we can, but differently. Every one of you has something special that people love. It is our job to embrace the differences in each other because in doing so, everyone prospers. The final night at camp, we had a special guest who had cerebral palsy, which is a condition marked by impaired muscle coordination and spastic paralysis. In other words, he was limited to a wheelchair since birth. He was one of the first children to ever attend public school with a physical disorder, but with this came much criticism and scrutiny. Teachers would say he was like the way he was because his mother drank too much. He didn't belong here. God didn't love him. Now, I don't know about you, but I believe God loves everyone. So much so that this man would graduate from medical school and become a certified doctor, helping those in need the most. I believe this man is the epitome of love, a person who, when the world takes everything away, still has something to offer back. He is one of the many that defy the world's current perception on people with special abilities. There are many people out there who believe that just because they are born with a disorder, they will amount to nothing more than a problem in today's society. Well, I can say with confidence that they are wrong, because this doctor is living proof of the impossible. When I was writing this chapel talk, at first glance, my main theme was how I came to grow from my week at camp, how I gained perspective, and my realization of how lucky I really was. But I soon recognized that this idea was bigger than me. The world does not revolve around you, and it definitely does not revolve around me, but rather all of us. And if we continue to single out certain people just because they are different from us, the world stops spinning, and that is our fault. Instead, I believe we should embrace those who contrast with one another, because without them, the world would be bland, tasteless, mundane. I can't imagine living in a world without Troy's fascination with cars, Bailey's coyote of a laugh, Mr. Ridewood's dry, sarcastic humor, or even my name. These things and many more are what make life colorful. TMI is validation that this sort of community can exist, one in which we all support each other in every one of our differences. For those of you who have or plan to take statistics, there is a term called standard deviation. The literal translation is that it's a number that describes the variation within a group. Most of the time, you want a standard deviation as low as possible, because this would indicate a relationship between the variables. Compare this to life, and I think it is quite the opposite. If we are willing to accept variation among us, standard deviation should have no limit, and neither should we. Thank you.